Hello my friends, I'm Prashni Naidu. Welcome to this video. We are going to be discussing today how to heal and integrate our shadow self with the help of our angels. So first let's cover what is our shadow self. Our shadow self is that part of ourselves that holds any unhealed trauma or emotions. So anything we don't want to deal with, anything we don't want to face, it's shoved down into our unconscious mind. And it's very easy to think, well, out of sight, out of mind, but that's not really the case. Our unconscious mind is actually incredibly powerful, more powerful than our conscious mind. This is the part of ourselves that really is almost like our operating system. It governs what we attract to us. It's really makes up our frequency, our energy, because it's all those emotions, all those experiences that are sort of in the background. It's sort of like dragging luggage along. You know, if you're going hiking and you've got a backpack, everything you need, but you don't realize, well, you're also dragging, you know, a whole carload of stuff behind you. It can really slow you down in life if that part of yourself isn't accessed, isn't healed, isn't acknowledged. Now, as well as having difficult emotions, your shadow self also includes unhealed trauma. And this very often includes trauma from childhood. So anything you have inside of yourself that you've just not dealt with. Childhood is one of those times where we, as children, we are not capable of healing trauma. We are just not evolved enough. We don't have the tools needed to process all the difficult things that can sometimes occur when we are children. Some of the things that are done to us, abuse, bullying, all those things. And so as a child, as children, we tend to shove those things down and just not deal with it. And because that becomes a part of your shadow self, any unhealed trauma. Your shadow self also includes any unhealed emotions. So anything you've experienced that you don't know how to deal with in a way that is healthy. So let's say you did meet with abuse at a young age. Obviously you'd have anger. You'd have feelings of sadness, feelings of betrayal. Well, those kind of emotions don't go anywhere, but they certainly do take up a lot of space and a lot of energy to deal with in the background, because it really controls everything. Our operating system, thinking we're lucky or unlucky, that we deserve love or not deserve love, that we're going to reach our dreams, that we're capable of it or not. This is all governed by those, or influenced by all that unconscious emotions and experiences that we just, kind of shove down there and don't want to deal with. So your shadow self is a very powerful way to fast track your healing and your evolution. It's a fast way to get in touch with your dreams and your goals and really propel you to the next phase of life. So your shadow self is something that needs to be acknowledged, needs to be looked at. And spiritual people, spiritually minded people generally don't want to do that. People who have suffered, people who have had difficulty in life generally don't want to deal with their shadow self. And why would you, right? If you've dealt with trauma, if you've dealt with abuse, if you've dealt with things that are uncomfortable, you've worked really hard to be where you are today. You are in a place of peace, a place of stability. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to move from that place, right? I don't want to move. I'm happy. Well, our angels know that, but they know also how to bring that side of ourselves out so we can actually deal with it, so we can actually acknowledge. So it's common for spiritually minded people to just stagnate because they don't want to deal with these difficult emotions. And part of that is because we are led to believe that when you deal with fear, when you deal with anger, when you deal with emotions that are labeled as lower emotions, it lowers your vibration. And that's not entirely true when we are speaking of shadow work. Your shadow self includes those emotions that you are repressing But not acknowledging them doesn't mean they are not present. It's that luggage that you're dragging, that pile of rocks that you're dragging behind you each and every day without realizing that you're doing it. Why not free yourself, right? So those emotions are still in your aura, still in your energy, and could still be affecting what you're attracting to you and how you view the world. So healing that side of yourself, very, very important. Also, because feelings such as anger, very closely related to feelings like passion and drive and ambition and competitiveness and all those things that help you get ahead in life. Learning how to use those emotions, those feelings, using them, wielding them appropriately in a healthy way is how you get ahead in life, how you are happy living, how you help yourself and how you help others around you. So there's nothing wrong with those emotions, but they're so closely tied to anger, so closely tied to those other things that's sometimes we don't want to see, don't want to deal with often because they're part of our trauma, that they get sort of lumped together and just ignored. So if you're feeling stagnant in life, if you're feeling like you can't get a move, that you lack ambition, maybe you have dreams, but for whatever reason, you're afraid to move forward. You can't do it. You're sitting on your couch instead of working towards your dreams. We've all been there. That's a sign in many cases that there's shadow work that needs to be done. It means that there's some fear, something that you've repressed down that's keeping you from claiming what is yours, your happiness, your goals, and your dreams. So as we know, our angels love to help us empower ourselves. And we're going to learn about two of them today that are specialists when it comes to shadow work. And the first angel is Archangel Michael. We're all familiar with Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael is known as the protector angel, and he's often depicted with his sword, dressed in military, kind of Roman kind of looking attire. And so he's very much known as sort of like a warrior. But this couldn't be furthest from the truth. Archangel Michael is incredibly gentle. He specializes in helping us with confidence issues and really wielding our power, being assertive in a loving way, going after our dreams. So he's really about that, and he is of the fire element. So Archangel Michael will help you connect with those parts of you that need to be healed, but he will do so in a very gentle and a very loving way. So if you have any trepidation, Archangel Michael is excellent to call on. And you can call on Michael just by simply saying, Archangel Michael, please work with me, please be with me now, and work with me and help me heal and integrate my shadow self. You can use those words, you can use whichever words you want. Archangel Michael, like all your angels, responds to your energy more than he does your words. So he knows what's in your heart. If it's time for you to heal, if you need assistance, he'll be there for you. And you can call on Michael out loud, or you can call on him in your head. I prefer, and I always suggest that people speak out loud, because it's a very empowering way to really make your healing real and really affirm that you're bringing in help, that Michael's really with you. And it helps loosen up that throat chakra. Many of us that have unhealed shadow selves, this throat chakra is very much a part of that part of ourselves that need to be healed. Because if it's trauma that we are repressing, often we need to speak about it. We need to air it before we can heal. So calling on Michael, using your voice is a good way to start engaging that and really affirming it's time to heal. It's time to move forward. So Michael, amazing, amazing angel to work with, and amazingly helpful when we heal our shadow self. Now, the next angel, actually, before we move on to the next angel, another way Archangel Michael is reminding me right now, he also helps you connect with your inner child. Michael is wonderful at doing this, and this is very important because when there is unresolved trauma, it's very often from childhood. Not always, but very often you'll find childhood trauma buried in there. It's our first experience with dealing with difficulties and challenges that we don't have the tools to utilize. As children, we're not grown enough, we're not evolved enough to know how to deal with something so difficult as trauma. And so we repress and we push that down. Now, Michael helps us connect with our inner child, because along with that trauma that we've pushed down, our inner child is also full of hope, dreams, aspirations. I mean, children they're walking miracles. There's nothing they can't learn. There's nothing that's impossible. Everything, the world is just new and vibrant. They can be happy just playing. They're amazing. And they vocalize, they verbalize. If there's problems, they'll scream, they'll yell. Children are great. Children are wonderful. And once we connect with that inner child part of ourselves, yes, we heal the trauma, but we also find a lot of gifts that are incredibly valuable in helping us move forward in life, helping us enjoy life. And you'll find that working with Michael, when you heal your shadow self, every day gets better. We live more assertively and less defensively when our shadow self is healed. You're not sitting there waiting for the axe to fall. You're not afraid of what's going to come next. You're not holding on so tightly. And when you don't hold on so tightly, the universe is allowed to send you what you need. The energy just flows naturally as it's meant to. So as spiritual people, we can be our worst enemies. We just hold on too tight. So Michael helps us work in a very gentle way to heal our shadow self. So now we're going to learn about the next angel, which is Archangel Nathaniel. And you can hear my cat right now. She loves Nathaniel and she's bringing her little toy. Apologies for that. Okay, that's enough. Come on. Okay, so Archangel Nathaniel, if you watch my videos, you'll very often hear my cats in the background. Animals love working with higher energy, and whenever there's angels around, whenever we're in the process of healing or speaking about healing and channeling the angels, they come to life. So if you have dogs, if you have pets, cats at home, be prepared. They're going to be out and about when you start doing your healing work. So let's get back to Nathaniel, my cat Tiny's bestest buddy. Nathaniel is amazing. Archangel Nathaniel is of the fire element, the same as Archangel Michael. He works with us in a little bit of a different way than Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael really helps you connect in a gentle way to your inner child, to your confidence, all those things. Archangel Nathaniel works through our feelings, through our emotions. So when you first initially call on Nathaniel, and you can call on him the same way you call on Michael, you may not always get a response. You may not always see a sign. Some of the signs that Nathaniel likes to use, his color is red. And I'm only mentioning that because so many of his signs are red. It's really not important to know any of these little details, but the signs are great because that's how you know the angel you've called on is actually with you. Nathaniel, in angel numbers, he loves to use 555. 555 in angel numbers means big changes. So Nathaniel loves to use that. He loves to show the color red. Spirituality, we're always afraid of that, but that's a color of passion. That's a color of our root chakra. And we're afraid of that color because we don't know how to be assertive in a healthy way, how to be passionate in a healthy way. Well, integrating our shadow self, that's how we do it. That's how we learn to wield our emotions for our benefit, because there's no bad emotions, there's no good emotions, there's only energy, there's only emotions. That's it. And so Nathaniel helps us by helping us connect. He doesn't put anything inside of you that's not already there. He helps you connect with what is next on your etheric checklist. So if you have healing to do, if it's time to maybe do some shadow work, he will bring that up to the surface. And through your feelings, through your intuition, you will just know what is next. And also, through the situations in your life, if there are other people involved in the healing, if there is help that you require, if there are situations that are going to trigger the healing. And very often, unpleasant situations arise to help us grow, to help us learn. And so unpleasant situations often come up when you've requested shadow work assistance. This isn't a bad thing, because like we spoke about earlier, your lower emotions it's not anything bad. You're carrying those emotions around anyway. They're being repressed. Airing them, healing them is just going to get them out to the open and make your burden that much lighter. So he frees us. Nathaniel really helps us connect with what we need. No outside source, even an angel, can do your healing for you. If it's on your life path, you need to go through it yourself. And though you can watch videos like mine, what's in your heart, what's in your soul is going to be your biggest teacher. And so Nathaniel understands that. And so instead of telling you what to do, he'll simply help you connect with those experiences, with that energy within yourself and in the outside world, so you can achieve that healing. And once you've really woken up to what needs to be healed, once you've touched on that, that's when Nathaniel will take more of a conscious presence in your life, where he will show you more signs, where he will talk to you. It's it's a little difficult to tell someone what they need to heal from. It's not internalized unless we feel it, unless we resonate with it ourselves. And also because a lot of trauma that's been repressed, well, it's trauma. And so it has to come out in a way that we can deal with it. And it has to come out at a time when we are ready to deal with it. So having the angels like Archangel Michael and like Archangel Nathaniel helping us do that really helps us progress in a healthy way and in a gentle way, than forcing things, than just saying, well, I need to do this, I need to do that. When we call on our angels, they know what's next for us. They know what's best for us. And they bring that up to the surface so we can connect with that information for ourselves through our own feelings, through our own intuition. And that in itself is empowering, and as it is, just listening to your emotions, listening to your intuition and following it. It's an incredibly empowering thing to do. So Nathaniel helps us connect with all those passionate feelings, because anger is also so closely related to passion, to drive, to ambition. All these feelings are very root chakra centered, very much of the color red, which is Nathaniel. So getting a handle on those feelings, facing them and healing them really helps us in life. It helps us achieve our goals. It helps us make progress. It helps us move forward, because those feelings are no longer scary. They're no longer things to avoid. They're things we can utilize and move. If you're feeling competitive, well, it's not going to be a big deal. If you're feeling angry, well, that's okay. You can acknowledge it. You're not going to hate yourself for feeling that way. Our shadow self tells us to push those feelings down. Feel guilt. That's not a good emotion. That's not something you should do. And that's just not helpful. So we want to integrate our shadow self. We are two sides of the coin, and to see both sides is useful, is healthy. People aren't meant to be perfect, but we are meant to be powerful. We are meant to be loving and helpful to ourselves and to each other. So working with your shadow self really gives you that momentum and that movement. If you're feeling stagnant, if you're feeling held back, integrating your shadow self, calling on your angels for assistance really gets you going and really helps you get to that next level. So at this time in Earth's evolution, there's so many people that are being prompted to work on their shadow selves, to heal those parts of themselves that are repressed and held back. So if that's something that is coming up for you, if you are feeling at all curious, I definitely suggest calling on your angels and getting them to help you with this. It may take a while, but just keep going and keep focused on what you want to do. The angels will help you bring that healing in when it's appropriate for you. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe. It really helps my channel out a lot. It helps me out, and I really very much appreciate it. Share my work. If you'd like to follow me on other places than YouTube, you can, I'll put the links in the video. You can just, at Parashni is where you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or Pinterest. Thank you so much for joining me, and we are wishing you all the best on your shadow work.